Welcome to the Saucy Scribes podcast. I'm Alex, your resident book psycho.
I'm Allie, your aspiring author.
And I'm Jo. I am the book bestie.
Woof woof. And today we're diving into Crescent City, House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. The electrifying sequel where rebellion simmers beneath the surface, loyalties are tested, and the stakes in Lunathian rise higher than ever.
And because some stories are best unpacked with a drink in hand, on this podcast we pair great books with even better cocktails. Today, we're giving you a quick rundown of the drinks we've lined up for this episode, so keep an eye on our Instagram at Saucy Scribes Pod, where the full recipes drop every Monday. This month, we're continuing our Crescent City cocktail lineup. A world of neon lights, ancient magic, dangerous politics, and enough emotional devastation to require a stiff pour. These drinks are bold, electric, and a little unhinged, just like the city itself. Grab a glass, cue the synths, and let's dive into Crescent City Cocktails, House of Sky and Breath.
First up, we have Day Bright and Night. This cocktail is for the secret places in the mind where love blooms without permission. Tequila for Agent Daybright, Mezcal for Agent Night. Two spirits that combine to reflect the hidden connection they share on the mental bridge. Two sides meeting in the middle, and one of them is on fire. Bright, smoky, forbidden, like a sunrise suspended in the shadow of night.
Next, we have the Thunderbird mocktail. This mocktail is Sophie in liquid form, a magical being long thought gone, feared and magnetic, drawing every type of energy toward her. Citrus and honey glow like her radiance. Ginger sparks like the power she unleashes. Every sip hums with tension, sweet, fiery, relentless. A storm contained in a glass, her true goal still quietly human, to save her brother.
And next up, Autumn Princess. This is a cocktail about duty meeting identity. Soft edges with sharp consequences. Ginger heat mirrors her inner fire. Pomegranate shows the blood-red weight of her title, and the sour base keeps it biting and unyielding. She may not have chosen the crown, but she owns it, one bold sip at a time.
And lastly, we have the Crown of Ash. Smoky bourbon, bitter amaro, blood orange, and rosemary. This one is quiet, controlled, and princely. Every sip feels composed until the smoke and heat linger, reminding you of the burdens Cormac carries and the consequences he faces. Some crowns are polished, some are forged in flame.
4 drinks, one world of secrets, power, and rebellion. Each sip carries danger, desire, and the quiet fires that drive these characters forward. Bright, smoky, fiery, and relentless, these cocktails are a taste of Midgard itself. Pour, sip, and remember, some stories are meant to be experienced with a drink in hand. Cheers!
Cheers!
Our Patreon is live. If you love the show, consider becoming a first-year scribe for just $5 a month. You'll get early access to our ad-free episodes, a digital cocktail booklet for each book we cover, and an exclusive printable dust sleeve designed to mimic the look of vintage leather-bound books, perfect for dressing up your romantasy shelf. This membership is a way to support the show and help us continue bringing this magical, messy, and swoony content to life. And if you've got a moment, we'd love if you rate and review the podcast wherever you are listening.
Now, before we dive in, we need to give a spoiler warning. We will be discussing the entirety of the Crescent City series and the entire Sarah J. Maas universe. This is our deep dive in preparation for ACOTAR 6, hopefully being released sometime this year. Come on, girl.
Wait, did you guys hear she's going to be on the Call Your Daddy podcast?
Call her daddy, yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. Hopefully we can discuss
Fingers
that
crossed.
next episode.
I wait with bated breath. Okay, sorry. We will also be including any bonus material and anything Sarah J. Maas has said in interviews. If we reference another series spoiler, we will give a spoiler sound in the episode so you can skip ahead.
And a quick note from your saucy scribes before we slip back into Lunathian. Crescent City, House of Sky and Breath doesn't ease up, it escalates. The grief is still there, but now it's sharpened into rebellion. The danger is broader, the betrayals cut deeper, and the consequences ripple far beyond the city. This is a story built on secrets, resistance, and the cost of choosing to fight back. So expect graphic violence, torture, political corruption, trauma, substance use, explicit language, sexual content, and emotional whiplash, alongside hard-earned intimacy, biting humor, and the kind of found family that refuses to break under pressure. So consider this your neon-lit trigger warning. If any of those themes feel heavy, step away when you need to and protect your heart always. But if you're ready to defy the Asteri, pour something strong and follow us into the charged, crackling chaos of Crescent City. The gates are opening, the archives are unlocked. We're stepping back into Lunathian. Alex, take us in.
Okay, here we go. It's a long book, so stay with me.
So much happens.
So much happens. House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas opens with zero chill in a new POV, Sophie Renast. Sophie's human has made the drop, and surprise, she's also a Thunderbird, a walking power bank the Asteri tried to wipe out. She infiltrates the Ophian rebels to rescue her brother Emil from the Kavala death camps, pulls off the breakout, and uncovers Asteri secrets along the way. The kids escape. Sophie doesn't. The Hind chains her and dumps her in the ocean. And welcome back to Crescent City. We enter part 1, where Bryce and Hunt are trying to be normal after book 1, which mostly means flirting, not touching for whatever reason we don't really understand. They're taking it slow. Okay, moving on. Q house party. Flirting? Check. Fury and Juniper PDA? Check. Drama? Oh, honey. Enter Prince Cormac, Bryce's betrothed by family contract. Bryce pieces out immediately. Back at her apartment, bleeding man alert, Ethan Holstrom, recently exiled by Amelie's wolf pack for defending Bryce. Meanwhile, the River Queen has Therian sniffing out Sophie Renast, who's suddenly very interesting to everyone. Rune argues with his father, the Autumn King, over Bryce's forced betrothal while juggling his messy engagement to Hypaxia Enidor, a witch necromancer hybrid tied to the terrifying Hind. With Archangel Micah gone, Crescent City needs new leadership. Enter Celestina, kind-hearted but commanding a messy new Triari, the Hammer Pollux, and the Hellhound Baxian. Hunt is reminded of all of his drama. Therian digs for Sophie leads, hoping to find Emil. Bryce wants answers too, especially about Danika, revealed to be a bloodhound, able to sniff lineage and secrets. Ethan spills old papers showing Danika and Sophie's mysterious correspondence about Dust Truth and Project Thur. Adis drops lore bombs. Bryce's star power comes from Thea, runes from Peleus, the OG bad guy apparently, and history is basically written by liars. Oh, and Agent Silverbow? Surprise! It's Prince Cormac himself. Bryce, Hunt, Rune, Therian, and Ethan navigate rebel chaos while Rune instantly bonds with the top agent, Daybright, via Mindspeak. Hunt gets a Pocket Realm dream call from Apollyon. Bryce destroys Reapers with the Star Sword, and Rune learns that charm comes with deadly consequences. We enter part 2. Bryce plays detective on Danika's history and tracks the tip about a weary soul's hiding spot, likely the Bone Quarter. Enter the Underking, who snacks on Second Light and wants Bryce and Hunt. Cue Hellhounds, epic fight, power experimentation. Hunt's lightning powers Bryce. Therian hears the storm, and they barely escape. Meanwhile, Rune, Ethan, and Cormac gather intel, nearly caught by Mordock, the Hind's sadistic wolf partner. They escape to a bar where Rune asks Ethan to move in. Then the Hind and Harpy show up, tension ensues. Later, Rune and Day share a quiet, complicated, and eventually steamy moment. Ethan, Bryce, and Therian consult the astronomer to find Connor's soul. Nope. 10 out of 10, nope. The Mystics are enslaved, they're hellbound, they're creepy as hell. Cormac updates on Rebel news, Mech suit mission succeeds, Pippa is moving toward Ydra, and chaos imminent. Please, everyone, stop her. She's a psychopath. On the island, Hunt inspects the mech suits, Pippa murders Veneer helpers, and Bryce and Hunt unleash Starlight and Lightning. Ophian ships chase them until a mysterious mer crew rescues the gang from the Hind's clutches. On board, Bryce and Hunt finally mate, solidifying their bond. Bryce accidentally teleports mid-sex, confirming Hunt is the key to her powers.
I'm sorry. She's like, dang, that was some powerful you-know-what. I feel charged.
Charged me up, Daddy.
Yeah.
On a very different note, sadly, Sophie's confirmed dead, and Cormac says a tearful goodbye. Back on land, Ethan steals the astronomer's rings, sounds like a great idea, freeing Sprites and Ariadne the dragon. Bryce secretly relocates Emil with the Viper Queen's help to live with her family, and Raging Hunt with all of the secret keeping. Bryce, Hypaxia, and Ethan fight demons, Ariadne bails, Rune and Day's Mindspeak escalates into romance, and Bryce attends Celestina and Ephraim's mating celebration. She snubs her father, introduces Hunt as her mate, and discovers Hypaxia and Celestina are secretly involved. Ooh la la. Apollyon reveals Adis loved Thea. Hell and the Fae united against the Asteri, and Hunt is key to Bryce's powers. Connor's spirit summoning fails. The Underking forces an Urd's temple meeting, or he'll feed on the pack of devil's souls. Casual. Ophion rebels attack. Bryce teleports to warn the city. Vaccine helps them escape and reveals the numbers on Sophie's arm were intel Danika received from him. And surprise, he was also Danika's mate. Sure. Loose ends get messy. Tharian breaks up with the River Queen's daughter and pledges himself to the Viper Queen. Ethan protects a mystic alpha wolf and discovers more Fendir heirs. Rune and Day finally have weird mind sex, but Day disappears mid-warning about the Eternal City mission. The plan: Cormac and Tharian blow up an Asteri lab to distract enemies. Hunt, Bryce, and Rune target the Crystal Palace. Cormac sacrifices himself in taking out Pippa, and Tharian escapes. Bryce explores the Asteri archives, discovering they feed on First Light and Second Light, enslaving millions and using Midgard as a feeding ground. Maps reveal other worlds. Enter Regulus. Bryce was baited to come here and unlock the rifts with her powers and Luna's horn. He admits orchestrating Danika and the Pack of Devils' murders, manipulating shifters into thinking that they're separate from the Fae when they're not. Bryce teleports, finds Hunt cornered and Rune captured. The Harpy taunts them. The Hind intervenes because, surprise, she's Agent Daybright, and they fake a fight to maintain the cover. Secretly free Bryce and whisper crucial intel. Regulus gathers everyone. Hunt, Rune, and Bryce fight. Baxian helps and is shackled. Regulus admits he impersonated Adis to hone Bryce's powers. He wants her to open a portal to a conquered Fae world to take over. Bryce plays along, insisting he free Hunt and Rune, but Rune mind speaks. Call Hell's armies. Bryce breaks free, runs to the Crystal Gate. Hunt powers her with lightning to open the portal. Regulus tortures Hunt, crowning him with thorns and enslaving him, and Rune and Baxian brace for the worst. Bryce lands in a green inhabited world. A leather-winged male confronts her. She pleads to be taken to Adis, but they don't speak her language. At a house, Fae recognize her old Fae language, untouched for 15,000 years. Her star sword is examined alongside its twin. A tattooed Fae woman arrives with her mate, who looks almost exactly like Rune. That's weird. Bryce pleads for help to save her world and Hunt. The Rune lookalike steps forward. Hello, Bryce Quinlan. My name is Rhysand. And then the entire fandom actually died.
Oh my God. The way that I texted Alex, like, could not have texted more furious or more faster. Truly. I was like,
she was Tokyo drifting.
What? Tokyo drifting.
But you know what? You know what solidifies this for me? Is the fact that we now know that Rune looks just like Rhysand.
But like, also, why? Why does Rune look just like Rhysand? Oh, we can't wait to get into it.
And now it's time to pull at the threads of theory. This is where we break out the red string, the conspiracy boards, and the emotional support highlighters and start connecting all the dots across all of Crescent City and the entire Maasverse. What was the intentional foreshadowing? What was calculated manipulation? What cosmic breadcrumbs are quietly leading us toward devastation? Because in this book, nothing feels accidental, not the alliances, not the power shifts, not the small revelations that suddenly feel massive in hindsight. So let's start tugging on some threads.
Woo! Boy, are there some threads to tug on. But let's start at the very beginning. Okay, we get a prologue in this book, and I find it very interesting in both book 1 and 2. She almost immediately kills off what feels like an important character.
Yeah, I mean, she makes it clear immediately that nobody is safe at all. Ever. Never.
No. And I also find it interesting that both book 1 and 2, the stories completely revolve around these characters who last like 10 pages.
Yeah, it's like their entire arc is powered by like the one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so for this one, it's getting Emil to safety and away from the Asteri. And with Danika, it was like getting Bryce into her mission, pretty much.
And who killed Danika, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
interesting. Very different format from her other series. And it's interesting that both books open the same kind of way.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And also, I think it's worth pointing out too that Sophie's entire storyline also becomes the lens into the Asteri's real agenda. But I feel like you don't really catch it until you're doing like a reread, and then everything is just like, oh my God, it's right there. Page 1,
Mhm.
Yeah.
chapter 1, prologue.
Another thing that is chapter 1, right in the beginning, is foreshadowing of Hunt being a god.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Bryce sees the sculptures of Thur at the ballet, one entitled The Making of the Sword. But on my reread, I was like, wait a minute. This feels like heavy foreshadowing, but in this book, and I believe in book 3, he never makes a sword. He never, we actually find out he's not technically a god as far as we're concerned, unless the princes of hell are gods.
Yeah. Well, so I kind of think that it's the sword from the prophecy, like the Fae
So you
prophecy.
think it's the Fae sword?
Yeah, like when the knife and the sword are reunited, so shall our people be. And I feel like it's also kind of a crossover foreshadowing for the end of the book. Because it's like the Starborn Fae of Midgard, aka Bryson Rune, and the Fae of the Dusk Court, aka the Night Court, Prithian, are meant to unite to defeat the Asteri.
For sure. But I just feel like where is Hunt's point in all of that? Because he doesn't make the Star Sword. He doesn't make Truth Teller.
He powers
Um,
her.
But he does power her. So
He
maybe
charges her up.
Bryce is the sword. Maybe Bryce is the sword.
Ooh.
They're like Captain Planet with their powers combined.
Yeah. Yes.
She does have the
Excellent
horn.
reference. Excellent reference.
There was also another thing at the ballet that I noticed as well. It was the relief called First Wars, and it
Mhm.
described the winged demons swooping down from the skies to a terrestrial army gathered below. And I feel like it's Hell's armies arriving to conquer Midgard during the First Wars, but the way that they reframe it is if they're the ones like coming in and attacking. And I
Right.
think
When
it's
really
like right in
they're
front of you.
protecting. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think that, I think we come to find out that history's been rewritten, right?
Totally.
By the Asteri. It's been rewritten. So, at some point, it's like, is hell even bad? Are they
No.
even
It's
evil?
not.
Like,
We talked about this last episode of she
Yeah.
uses your stereotyping of the word for your brain to automatically go to evil. Hell is evil.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
She preys on your weakness of just being like, I know what that word means.
right.
And I don't think they're evil at all. And there are obviously things throughout the whole series that you're kind of like, well, what he did wasn't great, and he's from hell. This guy
Yeah.
seems crazy. Or, they're sending demons after us. But you have to remember they're from a different planet where they see their demons as like pets,
Yeah. Also, the
So-
whole point in the last book to where he was just like, well, that was an unfortunate accident. We promise it won't happen again. They weren't supposed to get out.
you opened a portal into a pet pen. What did you expect?
Right. But also, I feel like even the good characters do some bad things too,
Just like
Yeah.
humans.
I mean, it's the
Everyone-
morally
And
gray
veneer.
thing, to where it's just
Mhm.
like, can you really be black and white?
No, just like any world, there's probably good and bad, essentially.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
you automatically think everyone from hell is bad, and Sarah J. Maas is like, haha.
Yeah,
mean,
and the
and-
irony is like the polar opposites, right? Because it's like the angels are the bad guys, like the archangels, and
Ugh.
then hell is the good guys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you have to make some sacrifices in order to save the greater good.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a part of life.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Team Hell.
Team
Team
hell with one L.
Team Hell 1L.
So let's also discuss the weird pact that Bryce and Hunt make to not be physical.
We can all agree that was surprising, right?
Surprising, but also in terms of storyline, they're mates. So if
Mhm.
they cemented their relationship on chapter 1 of this book, it wouldn't feel right.
Yeah.
Like, it's something you have to build to as a reader, so I get why she does this, and
Hmm.
with Bryce's past and history, it also kind of makes sense that she's like, "Wait, but I actually like you, so instead of sleeping with you in a bathroom, I'm actually gonna, like, not sleep with you at all,"
Yeah.
which,
Okay.
good for them.
But I mean,
Yeah.
okay. So it shouldn't have happened in a bathroom. Agreed. Obviously, it's giving very frat boy, like frat party. But I feel like there could have been other things that could have happened to have prolonged it, like the distance or the
Kissing and touches and
kissing,
things, yeah.
touching, people walking in on emergencies happening. We gotta go. You know, things like that instead of a pact. The pact just really felt dumb to me. It just did.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It was silly, and then for them to be like, "Just kidding, I don't wanna do that anymore." Like, it just felt
Well,
like a waste of
duh.
my time.
Yeah. I mean, I think there is a degree too to where Bryce wanted to feel out their relationship and like try and heal her trauma from book one, essentially, which is like, oh, good on you, girl. But
Good on
also,
you.
But also, why can't you just get it in just to get it in? Why is it gotta be like, "Oh, but now we're in a relationship." Maybe he was just a fine piece of archangel, you know what I'm saying? Let's see each
oh.
other naked.
But obviously, things get really weird between them. And I don't think it's just because they're made this pact that's so dumb. I think it's also because they are mates and not having that physical connection that mates crave and almost like rejecting it
Hmm.
made their emotional relationship awkward.
Mm,
Yeah.
Like, it's like
yeah.
you're denying your instincts, you're denying the like, this core part of your being, and
Hmm.
there's multiple times in the beginning of the book where they're like, "Why are things so weird between us?" And it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
That's
because 'cause you're
true.
denying your natural instincts to be together for whatever reason you've convinced in your head, which, hey, the thing is, like we've said before, this is a modern, real life romantasy.
Hmm.
Men and women do that shit all the time. Like,
Yeah.
how many times have you been talking to a girlfriend where they're like, I'm not going to sleep with a guy until the fifth date, even if I really like him, because I don't want to be easy to get, or I think this is an important relationship. And it's like, stop playing games. Just
Yeah.
feel what you want to feel. If it feels right, like, do what
All
you
of like
need.
the weird rules
Yeah, like, there
that
doesn't
are,
Yeah.
need to be weird rules if you guys both really love each other, or not love at the beginning, but
Just
obviously,
into
but
it.
really, if you're just both into
You
it,
should try.
like,
Yeah, I'm
and
terrible.
clearly they are.
yeah,
And they're living
I
together.
feel like this is a real life example
Yeah.
of just it's
Yeah.
just dumb.
Yeah, agreed.
The games.
The
And
Ugh.
living
games.
together.
And yes, Hunt and Bryce are living together, which is even more idiotic that they're made this pact.
That's what had me going like, "But what? Like, what? That's
Hmm.
weird."
Like, can you imagine their mate bond just being like, "Mer, mer."
It's literally like trying to pull them
Like, they're sleeping in
split screen.
separate beds. But also, it's
They're fa
interesting that this is what happens in their relationship, but when you look at it, let's talk about Akatar.
Mhm.
Rhys and Feyre were mates. Rhys knew the whole time, Feyre didn't, and never made their relationship awkward.
Fair. Well,
That was different.
Because Rhys is an
Pharaoh was also
evolved
convinced that she
superhuman.
was in love with Tamlin, so
He didn't know. He was painted as this evil person to her by Tamlin. That's completely different. So when she saw Rhysand, she was like, "Ooh, you're dangerous. I need to stay away from you." And also, I'm super in love with this like blonde guy who plays the fiddle. Like,
I mean, did she think that? Or did she think this is the most beautiful man I've ever seen?
maybe she thought it, but
No, she did. It's in the book. It's in the
Yeah.
book. She literally says it.
I know, but she could think that, but her heart was still with Tamlin.
Yes,
With
it was
Tim
with
Tam.
Tamlin. With tampon.
tampon. Anyway, then we get to the house party where we meet Cormac. And he has shadows, he can winnow. Are his powers stronger because he hails from a Vallon where the Asteri's power is less powerful but still in effect?
I think so.
I think so too, because it's the misty places.
It's the misty places, and even Regulus says later on that her star flares brighter because she's near a more pure-blooded fae of her bloodline.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Hunt and Cormac are the ones that make her little
Her
star
star
flutter.
light up.
Yep.
But
Yep.
But Hunt is for a different reason, and we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Which even Rhysand does point out as well.
Yes, he does. But Cormac has shadows, and he can winnow. He can winnow, bitches. Like, it's amazing. They don't call it winnowing, but we all know that's what it is.
Yeah.
Cousin Cormac, whose side of the family is he from? Because I'm over here, I'm trying to place. Okay, because I'm going back to Rhysand looking like
Rune's mother.
Rune.
He comes from Rune's mother's side.
Thank you. So Rune's mother, I believe, is the one that is connecting.
Yes, which we don't know
family.
very much about her, and I hope we get more about her. I'm assuming we will in CC4.
Yeah, hopefully. Well,
Yeah.
that's also when Rhysand is talking about the undiluted blood, as you said, Alex. But also then earlier in the story, too, Cormac is like, Starborn Fae used to breed within the lineage, which is so incestuous and so disgusting.
So Lannister.
Yes. And I mean, that's a good indicator that if he is so undiluted, then that's probably why he's so undiluted. And that's pretty gross.
That, and I do think, like, because Avalon is that thin place, and they even say the Asteri can't go there.
Yeah.
So, like, I think there is a magic in that. It's actually why, very misguidedly, Bryce's father wants her to marry into their family so that she is protected by the mist, because he knows that she's going to be hunted. But let's keep talking about our friend Cormac, who I think we all dislike right away. He's an asshole.
He grows on you.
He just
does.
shows up at the house, at the party.
Oh, yeah.
Just like appear, portals in.
Well,
while they're
because,
he's in the other room.
He's a prince. He goes where he wants to go. But she's a princess, which means apparently that she is a piece of meat to be sold at auction.
Yep.
Which is a very interesting juxtaposition in this very, very modern world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also interesting because I feel like in Akatar, which is where they come from, while yes, it is unheard of at that point for Feyre to become a lady of the Night Court the same way that Rhysand is. So yes, there is some like patriarchy, like hierarchies in that world.
Mm-hmm.
It is not like the way that the Fae treat their females in this world.
Mm-hmm.
It is weirdly more antiquated in this world. And it's interesting. Does that mean 15,000 years ago, Prythian was just like that? I'm assuming so. And they evolved more somehow than Midgard has. And the Autumn King is exactly the same way, which is the Autumn Court.
He's just like the Autumn Court. We already discussed.
Has fire.
But also he is just like the Autumn King and Prythian, both assholes. We've already discussed this.
Like what? Excuse me.
Like what is with this lineage that none of these men can seem to get it together?
What's wrong with the Autumn Court?
They don't want to.
But yeah, it's just an interesting like train of thought to see that, you know, they separated 15,000 years ago. And even though Prythian is still set in this medieval, more like we only have swords and no technology type of world, they have evolved more socially than the Fae and Midgard.
But to be fair, the Illyrians are very misogynistic.
They are.
They do not like women having any... They don't even like their women to be able to fly. And who else has shadows?
And the Illyrians are the people of Prythian that the Asteri basically messed with and bred.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that that's the link. And they're the ones who are, you know, misogynistic and assholes.
So I have this crazy... It's not like a fully thought out thread of theory, but I've got one. And since we're kind of on the topic, I'm like, okay, maybe do I bring it up here?
Throw it out.
Okay.
We're ready to catch you.
So we're here in the fact that Illyrians clearly are a little bit different. They have the dark wings. They are clearly part of the Night Court vibe, right? So if we're still connecting worlds, Rhys and the Illyrians are different than angels, right? Because they have leathery wings. So do we think that it's possible, because they don't know how exactly the Illyrians are different, right? They don't know how they got that.
To be Illyrians, yeah.
Yeah. So now that we know that there are rifts and people can travel through worlds, do we think it's possible that the Illyrians were made in the Vogue universe and came into Prithian.
Maybe. I do think it is like fairly confirmed from this book that Regulus says that they bred an army in Prithian, and it's very clearly referring to the Illyrians. But my thought was always that in order to get the Illyrians, they played with breeding creatures of hell with Fae.
Okay.
To get the Illyrians, because we don't know in the timeline exactly, like, when did they go to Prithian, when did they go to Hell, how long has been Hell fighting them, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So did they have a demon with them when they landed in Prithian? Possibly. And, you know, when she lands in Prithian at the end of this book, she even says that Azrael has demon's wings.
Yeah.
Specifically demon's wings.
So now here's another extra point, though. Do we think the Vogue universe and Hell are the same?
That is, like, I think the biggest theory of this book is that question. I don't think so, actually. Sometimes it doesn't have to be a crossover. It just, like, is what it is of, like, the Valg are a species, the princes of hell and their demons are a planet and a species and a universe. I think we're going to get 7 universes from her because she loves the number 7, and we're only on universe 3 here.
Do we at least at minimum agree? Because like in Throne of Glass, we learned that in the Vogue universe, it was being plagued by an outside force. Do we think that that's the Asteri?
Could be. I think so, yes.
So maybe it's just Occam's razor and that's it.
You know, I need a map. I just need Sarah J. Maas to put out a map. I need a map.
And I'm sure one day she will.
It's going to be like, have you ever seen those like chessboards that are like the multi-dimensional chessboards? That's what I feel like this is when I picture these worlds. So anyway, we meet the new Archangel, Celestina. Why in the world did the Asteri place her in Crescent City?
I asked myself that multiple times on my reread, and I still don't totally understand it, other than that they definitely know that she's in this relationship with Hypaxia, and they know that she's afraid, and that she would probably do anything they want her to do because she's afraid.
Yeah,
malleable.
Control her.
Malleable.
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah.
And she's probably the only archangel available, is what it sounds like.
Because they're just dying.
It's like, so, by the way, one of them got their heads pulled off and the other one got vacuumed up. But hey, do you want the position? Because, like, you seem good for the job.
Yeah.
Good luck.
But also, we need you to get married and mate this other one so that you can have babies, because we need more of you.
We need babies.
And with Celestina, we also get Baxen and Pollux. What do we think of Baxian, you guys?
I actually love the Baxian thread, and I will talk about it a lot through this episode. But I love this, like, so realistic redemption arc of just he basically was in the same boat as Hunt, but Hunt can't see it for so long.
And he tells
completely
Hunt.
agree.
Yeah, it's interesting that Hunt feels the same way about himself, about how he should just lessen the evils and how he still had to do horrible things, but he doesn't seem to realize that anyone else could also have been doing the same thing as him.
Right. And honestly, I feel for Baxian because, like, he's telling Hunt, like, what makes you so noble? What makes you better than me? Because what? Because I hit it better? Because I didn't wear my anguish on my face? Yeah, because I survived better than you? You think I wanted to do these horrific things? I did them because I had to stay alive. Get it together, homie.
Yeah. And it's a really interesting writing tool from Sarah J. Maas to literally have a character that exactly mirrors him and he can't see it.
Yes.
It's so good.
It being his mate's best friend's mate.
I know, right?
Parallel.
Which leads perfectly into that this whole book is Danika keeping secrets.
We're still getting Danika secrets.
She's going to be in this series until the last page.
Which is why we cast her.
So we find out that she knew Sophie, and then we find out that she was a bloodhound.
Oh, surprise!
Yep.
Surprise, more secrets.
We find out about Baxian being her mate later in the book. Mordok is her dad.
That's a lot of secrets for a dead person.
It's a lot of secrets.
The Mordok one really threw me, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, talk about daddy issues.
Seriously.
And mommy issues. She just has issues.
And mommy issues. She
Relationship
just has issues.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this as a plot device. So, like, on Reddit, this is one of the biggest critiques of this book specifically,
Mm-hmm.
is that it just, for a lot of readers, feels like a cop out of just like, oh, I need to plug something into this story. Let me just like say Danica knew all along and it was a secret.
Mm,
Which I definitely see because there's so many secrets about Danica that come out.
yeah.
My devil's advocate to that is
Mm-hmm.
that she clearly planned a lot of it all along because in the first chapter of book 1, they have a conversation about how Danica hasn't been on a date in 2 years.
Yep. It was long game plan. This
It was
isn't.
long game.
It was
Yeah.
already. 'Twas in the stars already.
Yes, why Danica kept all these secrets, I have no fucking clue because I agree with Bryce's turmoil in this book of just like, why didn't she trust me? And I agree. I don't get why she didn't trust Bryce. I don't get it.
And I mean, I think the devil's advocate side of it is like she didn't want to put her in danger, but also
That's what
she
I
was
was gonna
putting her
say.
in infinitely more danger by not telling her all of
And
this.
putting the
Yeah.
horn on her. By putting the horn. That's conflicting.
Bryce was like in the ultimate danger of herself of being the true Starborn princess and keeping it a secret from a murderous Autumn King. And it's like, girl, we're on the same plane here. Share your secrets with me. I've shared mine.
That's
Yeah.
true.
We're both like living by a thread here, hoping no one discovers all these things about us.
Yeah.
That's true.
And
Also,
I
what a
don't
perfect
get it.
segue. Like, she knew that she was basically a disowned princess. That would have been the perfect segue of the conversation.
Perfect. Perfect segue.
So, what do we think about her bloodhound gift?
I mean, it's interesting. I've never heard of that actually in any of the other universes.
Okay, so I thought I did in Throne of Glass because I remember there was a character that they called a bloodhound whose job it literally was to sniff out people. And
True. That is
it
true.
seems to also know when other characters have different powers. Like they're the ones that are like, you can still do this or whatever. So that's right on par. And then Rigelus had also said that they had bred out the pointy ear trait after a couple of generations.
did.
And I doubt that it came from the Akatar universe because if they would have been interbred with the Fae and the Shifters, it would have caused Shifters to continue to have pointy ears.
For sure. I absolutely think Danica's line is from Thrones of Glass. And I think she is literally descended from Fenris. He shifts into a wolf.
Yeah.
And his name has like one letter difference
Fen.
from her last
No!
name.
You're right.
Fenrir. Fenris. What happened to a lot of immigrants when they came to Ellis Island?
Change their
They-
names to fit
Their
in.
names,
Kept a portion of it.
they kept a portion of it or it was written down slightly wrong
Mm-hmm.
and became something else. I think she is absolutely descended from him.
Yay. I feel like I
gosh.
get like a little gold star from our book Psycho because I maybe nailed one on the head.
No, you did. I feel like you did. That's it. High five.
Like he literally shifts into a wolf too. Like it's literally, oh, you have to be her descendant. I was
Yeah.
almost waiting when she finds that page of lineage. And I think,
Yeah.
how is that not his name? Like,
Mhm.
And listen, I'm gonna just say this. Like, I understand that the name Fenrir is very common in many fantasy type books as a type of wolf or wolf shifter or lichen or whatever. They like to use
right,
that
Harry
name.
Potter too, yes.
Right, but this
Yes.
is Sarah J. Maas's universe, and I don't think that she would make that mistake. You know what I'm saying?
It's not a mistake.
Exactly. I
think there
it's
are no
purposeful.
mistakes.
There are no mistakes, not
No,
in
there
this
aren't.
world.
I mean,
There are.
even going back to what you just said, it was like chapter 1. It was
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep. So speaking of all these crossovers, so we didn't discuss this last book, but it comes up in this book again because they're all like, oh, hey, I saw you at the summit last year, however many months ago it was. And I saw that you went through your ordeal.
Yeah.
And that is something very common in this world, but not talked about in ACOTAR or Thrones of Glass. But when
Mhm.
you think about it, all of our characters do go through similar things. But is it just because we're reading a book and they all have shitty bad luck? Or is it because they actually go through something called an ordeal?
Yeah. Okay. In Thrones of Glass and in ACOTAR, the Fae basically like settle into their powers over a couple of months, right? to where it's like kind of unpredictable, but it's like a natural
They're
thing that
learning.
happens. Yeah. Which it makes the drop and the ordeal feel less universal as a Fae experience.
Well, the drop isn't. The drop is created by the Asteri.
Right.
To take their
Because
power.
it's engineered
'Cause it-
because of the
they're
parasite,
drinking-
though, right?
Yeah, they're drinking the parasite. It's all
Yeah.
been engineered to steal their power. But the ordeal is not. But it's almost like, I wonder if it's just like a funny thing in this world because of, like the alpha whole thing and her modern takes on all these tropes. Is it her making fun of the fact that all of these characters have to go through something traumatic?
I feel like it's more so because it like helps amplify their drop level. Does that make sense? I kind of think of the drop as like a video game.
It is a video game,
Right?
absolutely.
Like, so it's like once you've had a little bit of hardship or gone through something, like you can get a higher score. Like, I don't know. That's kind of just how I think about it.
But we don't know if that's true across the board. It's true for like Bryce and Rune, but we don't have that many like first person accounts. Like, did Lydia have an ordeal? I don't know. And what would it have been? That's
Rune's
the thing
bros
is like
did though.
they did, but because they were with him. It's
And
interesting
Cormac,
that
they were all
all
together.
they had quote unquote all had the same ordeal. And it's like, or maybe Fae are just, really aggressive alpha holes and they can't leave each other alone. So like you all just like shit on each other all the time. And now you've decided that it's an experience you all need to go through, which it's not.
I wonder what Sophie's drop was like.
Doesn't Ethan bring
yeah.
up though about his ordeal, or not his ordeal?
No.
But doesn't he asks Rune about his ordeal?
Yes, which technically Ethan is Fae. He just doesn't know that.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
So he
all
should have
Fae.
gone through
They're
an
a
ordeal and he
shifter.
hasn't. I think the ordeal is just Sarah J. Maas's tongue-in-cheek of alpha hole, of being like all these tropes, all these things that always happen in romantasy in these books with all these characters and trauma.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like laugh about it a little bit and say that these characters, they all have to go through it, and I'm gonna call it something.
I honestly, if that is the case, I love it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty funny.
Because it's not explained.
It's not, and it doesn't happen in Prithian. It doesn't happen in the Thrones of Glass world. They don't all feel like they have to go through something. Like, yes, I would say Aelin and Rowan and all of our main characters do go through that things because there are characters in those books who are going through trauma, or there to be no story, but they know characters who do not at the same time.
Which ordeal was Feyre's?
All of it.
All of
Her
it.
whole life.
She's like,
She can't read.
she's like, I have had
That's the first
so
one.
many
Her
ordeals.
first ordeal. She can't read. Okay, learning to read was an ordeal. And being forced to paint.
And then Amarantha, and then the Cauldron, and the King of Hybern. This
And the
woman
snake.
Your
has
sisters being taken.
had far too many ordeals.
Feyre's
The
like,
snake.
Bryce, you
Mhm.
guys are bitches. Oh,
Here's like, you know nothing. I've been through it all.
literally. She's
I
like,
went to hell at the bottom of a mountain to save a man.
she's like,
Can't
I
even really-
deserve to just have my own little art shop at this
Just let me
point.
paint in peace.
Let her finger paint for your fridge.
Oh my
Let
God.
me paint in peace.
So next up, we think we meet Prince Adis again, which is very tricky, Sarah J. Maas, because Rigelus is the one feeding them this info, which we don't find out until later, obviously. But like, here we
much
are.
later.
Mm-hmm.
How arrogant is he?
It's pretty arrogant. It's also like somehow you knew that they'd go on this path. Like, and when you look back at that passage, you're like, he's telling them so much information that he keeps hidden from everyone else. And how did you know all of that was going to play out in your favor to get Bryce to come to the Eternal City? That's a long reach. That's a long play.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a Sarah J. Maas world, and we're all just living in it. But like,
Or it's years and years and years and years of him being around these
15,000
people.
years.
Exactly.
Maybe he's
and
bored.
just knowing how. I mean, he comes and he sits on Ethan's lap and is getting petted while he plays video games.
Yes.
I just picture him laying on his back getting tummy scratches and be like, "When's that bitch coming home? I got something to tell her."
He's like, I'm so bored. I'm going to be a cat today.
Yeah. That's it.
Fun side fact that the Asteri can shapeshift.
Right? What can't
Yeah.
they do?
Apparently. Yes, what can't they do?
It knows
Create
no
their own
bounds,
power.
apparently.
They can't create their
But
own
then
power.
we get, Ethan's I'm going to be a teenage boy for 5 minutes scene, and he breaks the table.
Okay, this is kind of one of my favorite scenes. I talked about it in the last book, though, but also, like, again, pure coincidence, because
It has to be coincidence because
if he didn't break it, she wouldn't have this information.
no, and
Yeah.
I don't really feel like Danika left it there for Bryce to find. Like,
She was
she would have
hiding
had
it.
to have known that she was going to die and Bryce was going to live there and then one day break the table. It's like, there's just no way.
Yeah.
She didn't leave that for Bryce. She was hiding it.
No.
Another
She was-
secret.
But also, why didn't you just fucking delete it? I don't... Why do you have to hide the hard copies? I don't understand.
Why couldn't she just burn them? Maybe she wanted evidence in case... maybe she wanted evidence in case she died. Maybe it
Then
was
we don't
saved
have,
there
like, a
in
note or
case.
anything.
Yeah, but
No,
you can't
there's
put a
no
note because
note.
then people will find it before you die. You gotta just
The whole thing is weird.
don't-
But, I think it's just plot moving along the story.
Yeah. We got
Also, him being like, "What cow? I'm such a boy." Like,
Oh my God, such a boy. It reminded me of my 5-year-old son. Like, truly.
in his ninja suit.
In his ninja suit with
In
his
his ninja
lightsabers. Yes. And then we get to meet Apollyon. Yay. So,
Star Eater.
yes, and his name is the Greek term meaning the destroyer, which Star Eater all falls in line. In Revelation 9:11, he's the angel of the bottomless pit and king of plague of locust. And the Greek translation of the Hebrew, the name represents a personification of destruction, often associated with Satan or one of his high-ranking demons. And he even says, "My father was the void, the being that existed before. Chaos was his bride and my dam." So, I know I said earlier that I didn't think
I'm
they're from
like,
the same
are we sure
world,
they're not Valg?
but it is so Valg-coded. I know. But there's so many things in her universe that are like that. Technically, you could almost say that about the cauldron. The cauldron is almost like the void that created all life, right? In Prithian.
Can I just get something off my chest really fast? The one thing through all of ACOTAR that drove me absolutely insane was the fact that everyone was like, "Oh, cauldron bless us." And I was like, this is clearly a bad thing. Why are we like...
Why you want to be blessed by the cauldron?
So I'm gonna devil advocate you here of I actually get it. And because of this series, I get that
Okay.
expression. The cauldron did used to be blessed. The Asteri are the ones who polluted it, and they say that in the next book. When they went to Prithian and took over, they polluted the cauldron to make the weapons like the horn, like the crown, like the trove.
Okay.
And I think the saying goes farther back than that.
Okay.
So while we see the cauldron as not being something that's always something good, I think at the beginning of that world, it was.
It was something good. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
All right, fair.
I just constantly thought about people being like, "Oh, cauldron bless us." And Nesta's like, "Fuck that."
To be fair, she had trauma with the cauldron.
That was her ordeal.
That was her
Yeah.
ordeal, yes.
She's the first known mishap of the cauldron.
Yes. I mean, and this leads perfectly into the next part of this book where
Yep.
Bryce says, what happens when the worlds overlap? When demons come here, do their gods come with them? And all of us Vanir, we all came from elsewhere. Were we immigrants into Midgard? But what became of our home worlds, our home gods? Do they still pay attention to us and remember us?
Great question, Bryce.
Talk about the cauldron. Talk about Sarah J. Maas, literally word for word, pointing out her crossovers. It's amazing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But do you think that maybe the Asteri were actually killing those worlds? Some of the worlds at least?
Some of them.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting because we now know that obviously different cultures call different things. The Asteri were the Daglin in Prithian. So I'm looking at Thrones of Glass now. There were gods in Thrones of Glass too. That was a whole storyline. We had Mala the Firebringer. We had Silba. We had Deanna. There are 12 gods, and Aelin sends them back to the world and locks them out of the Thrones of Glass universe. So what were those gods? Were they Asteri? Or were they some other being? Were they the people that Amryn hails from? Where were they locked into? Were they locked into hell? Were they locked into Midgard? These are like the types of things that are just like, okay, brain explosion.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes I feel like beings call themselves gods when they're not necessarily a god. They just think they're above the world that they've come in and conquered,
True.
which I feel
Very
like is
true.
actually most of the time.
Yeah, completely. So, Rune and Daybright,
Yeah.
they've chatted, and then they start chatting without the crystal.
Red flag.
Okay.
Unusual.
Or green flag. Green flag.
That's giving mate vibes.
It's giving mate vibes.
It's giving mate vibes.
I love how they've been like, we don't know why this is still working.
I love how like the next couple times that they meet up, like they're furnishing their place. They're furnishing their place.
Sure.
There's a couch. They're chilling. Hey, welcome.
Listen, I'm tired of standing.
Right.
Love that they're like, let's get cozy while we, trade information.
That's right.
She's like, oh, I've had such a hard day torturing people. I need a chaise lounge, please.
I also find it interesting that Lydia, her code name is Daybright, and he's Night. Like, when you would think that she would be Night, right? Because how dark and sinister she can be when she's...
He hails from the Night Court, don't you know?
Oh, yeah!
Also, it's kind of a weird play on words because it could be like Night with a K because he's like kind of saving her.
Emotionally.
Joe's like, no.
No, I'm just like, because, yeah, I mean, no, because, she's getting snatched out of her dreams, her little meetups by Pollock.
No, he's saving her emotionally by reminding her that she's a person. Yeah, he's reminding her that she's a person with needs and that, like, she can be loved.
You're right.
Okay, this leads me into a huge fan theory, though.
Okay, let's hear it.
Stay with me, ladies. Lydia, Daybright. Why is she covering herself in fire? Think about it. There is a huge fan theory that she is descended from Aelin and Rowan, okay?
Sure.
Yes, she covers herself in fire. She's a deer shifter. Hello, Terrason.
Yep.
And when we see her in this book, like physically, not in Rune's mind for the first time, it's described, and this is a weird detail when you think about it, that she's wearing a gold ring crowned with a square, clean-cut ruby, which is exactly Aelin's wedding band.
Yep.
Oh!
A small sign of wealth or whatever it's called, right? Like,
yes.
That's how they
what
say
the
it.
sentence says.
And I was like, I feel like I've seen that before.
And you
in
have.
a cave.
And you have. And this is one of those fan theories that I'm convinced is true. If it's not true, I refuse. Like, she is absolutely descended from them, which brings me into, other than our shared world theory, there are fans who think that all of these worlds are actually the same world, that this is the exact same planet that is in different eras of its life. So, like...
Oh, that hurts my brain.
Yes. I don't think that theory is true because obviously we go to Prithian in this book, but they're saying that's a time jump and not actually like a planet jump to jump. Yeah,
I don't like time jumps. It hurts my head.
I don't like it either. It's not my favorite. I think she can still be descended from Aelin and Rowan and not be on the same planet because of the way Midgard is set up.
Yeah.
I also just thought of something because she is a deer shifter, right?
Yeah.
So in Throne of Glass, Aelin is connected to the goddess Diana.
Yes.
And the goddess Diana's companion is typically a
deer. Well, yes, like when the Fae come to rescue them at the end of Thrones of Glass, it is famously a stag coming to rescue her, which is the symbol of Terrason, which is a deer, a male deer.
And also, isn't that what Adian has on the crest?
Oh, probably.
I don't know. I just feel like it's symbolic.
It's very symbolic.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely symbolic.
The same way that Danika shifts into a wolf, I feel like it's all very symbolic. I don't know who in the universe shifts into a hound that Baxian is descended from, but maybe it is Vaughn who disappeared into the nothingness and we never found out what happened to him. Sure.
So, Rune, he gets attacked by the Reapers that are controlled by the Asteri, not by Hell. No, Bone Quarter? Who really controls the Reapers?
Well, they think the bone quarter. We find out later Regulus sent them.
Yeah, it's the Asteri.
Right. Right. And in the same scene, we find out that the Star Sword can kill that which is unkillable. Why do we think this is? And what are the Reapers?
I mean, I think if we're going to say anyone is Valg in this world, it's the Reapers.
I know, because we're like, they're Valg. They're Valg. They're Valg.
But no, this one actually has receipts. They're the only beings in this world that bleed black.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think this is the scene which is actually showing us that to show that. Because I honestly, why does this scene exist otherwise?
And the creepy robes.
Yes. Why does this scene exist otherwise? Because it doesn't really make sense of like, okay, he sent Reapers to like remind them of his plan. Okay, that's random. But what we learn is that they bleed black. And I think later on, no one else in this world bleeds black but the Reapers. No one.
I get that.
And I do think they're from the Valg. And because that's a very strong characteristic of Valg. And I always wonder, why are the Reapers? Why is the Underking? Where did the Asteri get them from?
Sure.
I think the Valg universe.
That's what they took.
Yes, that's what they took.
Yes.
We're going to bring you back.
Yeah, we need you.
Yes.
in
The
our army.
Underking implies that they might be from hell and that they defected, but I don't think that's true because it's Thanatos who says that he left his dog there to spy on Midgard and the Underking like adopted him. And I feel like if the Underking and the Reapers were from hell, there'd be more of a communication there where I feel like Thanatos, you know, he was doing that like in secret. It's not like he told the Underking his plan. So,
which is also why he was so pissed that Bryce killed it.
Yes. So I don't think they're from the same world. I think it's very like insinuating talk to just confuse Bryce. I don't think that he actually knows where he's from.
Right.
So I think if there's going to be any crossover with the Valg, it's that.
The Reaper.
Yes. So next up in our chat, Bryce and Hunt say, "I love you" before the mate bond snaps into place. And I actually really like that in this story, that it feels more of like their decision. Once again, more modern to be together than say in ACOTAR or Thrones of Glass, where it's just like, oh, we're mates. I guess we like each other. Woo!
And this is in the gym, right?
Yes.
Where they say, "I love you."
Yes. And they both were like, oops, did I say that out loud? But shortly after, Rune even says that Bryce smells different. So for all of those haters out there who don't think Bryce and Hunt are mates, Rune literally says before they even feel any type of mate bond actually like shimmering around them, that he can smell their scents mingled together.
And those Fae have strong sense of smell.
They do. And they learn in the Bone Quarter that obviously the afterlife is not real.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That makes me sad, actually.
Here is where my Starfall theory continues, everyone. Okay? She says, if we died and didn't go to those places, what would happen? And she later asks, where did Sophie's soul go?
Your splooge.
It's their splooge.
Star splooge.
I would like to point out, so Starfall disturbs Amryn. She doesn't like Starfall.
Yeah, that's
and I think
true.
it's because she senses that they are soul. And Rhys says that there are less and less stars every year.
Ooh.
Yes, and I think it's because the Asteri are losing their control over Midgard.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that's my theory.
I mean, I love it. We talked about it in last book, and I actually love that theory a lot. I think it makes a lot of sense.
It does.
I think it's sad though, but also kind of relatable. Like when you think about just life in general, like our lives, like, what happens when you die? Where do you go? You know, we hear like people will talk about heaven, they'll talk about hell, they'll talk about, purgatory, whatever. And I think about this book and I'm like, how sad that they thought that their friends would be there forever, and come to find out that they're just a battery.
They're just being eaten.
Yeah, you're like, oh, drained
so
it this much,
sad.
and we're gonna keep you around for a couple thousand years, maybe a couple hundred years, and then we're gonna suck the last bit out of you.
Yep.
And then poof,
It's
you're gone.
awful.
And yeah, to Alex's point, that's why there's not as much Starfall, because they're just
sucking up the energy. And then Danika just giving her last little blip of energy for Bryce to make the drop. Oh,
All right, we're at Ethan has a gut
oh,
tug towards Bryce.
freaking Ethan and his gut.
So he
Tugging
thinks
him
that
everywhere.
he thinks that Bryce could be his mate.
He's
And I'm
tripping.
sorry, when I read this, all I thought was like, well, maybe they'll have a baby and he'll imprint on them.
Listen, Jacob.
You went full Twilight.
Listen, Jacob. You imprinted on my baby.
He's even a wolf. I'm sorry, I couldn't unsee it. Just couldn't unsee it.
You know, there's very few characters in books that I feel like, you know what, maybe you should stop listening to your gut. But you know, Ethan is that person that I'm like, can you just not listen
He
to
has
your instincts,
Terrible
please?
instincts,
He's the worst.
right? And they're like, you could be an alpha. Get who alpha of who?
Oompst.
Who are you alphaing?
I'm not following
Nobody.
No.
No. Anyway,
Once again, we meet Prince Thanatos. Calls himself the Prince of Death. His souls bow to me. We talked about he owned the shepherd dog thing.
mhm.
He tries to take the mystic soul and is definitely seems insane. This is one of those moments where you're like, maybe hell is really evil.
Yeah.
He says he doesn't care for his brother's agendas. And this is one of the counterpoints where is Thanatos the same Thanatos from Akatar? So when we posted our podcast clip from our last episode, there was one or two fans who said that they heard that Sarah J. Maas said that she accidentally used a name in her universe twice and that she didn't mean to, and that they thought that that was this instance. I looked. I could not find it anywhere. I don't know where they're remembering it from.
They're
If
on
you
a
do,
different timeline.
yeah. If you do know where it is, please send it to us and back up your receipts because we'd
Yeah,
love
link
to
us.
hear it. Link us. But because I couldn't find it, I'm going to say, I'm sorry. I don't think you're correct. But it does throw in that whole theory of how they're related because this Thanatos does not seem like a sane man who lives in the Night Court Thanatos.
No. Well,
No.
not saying that the Night Court Thanatos seemed super well balanced, but
But more balanced than this. More balanced than eating a mystic soul.
yeah, I mean, Adis and the other brothers were like, listen, we don't all get along, by the way. There's just a couple of us that are real G's. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking Thanatos is not part of the cool kid brother prince squad. Do
No,
we
for
agree?
sure. He's definitely not. But, like, is he the same Thanatos in the Night Court? I don't know. Based on this scene, I'm not sure. But okay. And this is really far fetched.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
say there's a way the Thanatos in the Night Court, he can sleep and his mind projects still back into hell or something.
Okay.
Maybe he does have these dual sides of his like personality where he knows how to play the game when he's awake and feeling it. But when
Okay.
he's really at his base self in his mind, he is the prince of hell in Crazy Town. I
Okay.
don't know. It's a stretch.
Yeah. Like a mind bridge situation.
Yeah, and I find it very hard to believe that she accidentally used this very specific name twice.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. You
I don't
you
agree
know
with
your
that
worth.
either.
Also, she's a plotter.
She is, and with this type of universe, I feel like you just don't do that.
No.
Yeah.
The fact that I couldn't find the interview that I think is like one or two fans were claiming just like says a lot too. I Googled and I could not find anything relating to that.
Sure.
And I feel like it would be like the top search if she'd actually
That's
said
a
it.
theory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But maybe there will be an explanation if they really are the same person.
Perhaps. So now we are going into action mode. They go off to intercept the mech suit, and pretty much Hunt gets to blow shit up. Pippa, interesting.
She confuses me.
Confuses you?
Is she a necessary character?
Yes. I'm going to
Okay.
say yes.
Okay.
Because
trust
I
you.
think when you have stories like this where you think it's good versus evil, you really need those degrees of gray of not everyone on the side of rebel is necessarily good.
Right.
Like in every war, there are villains. Like, spoiler for Daughter of No Worlds. It's kind of that thing, and it's shown beautifully in that series, of, in the fantasy world especially, we get that whole good versus evil like Star Wars. There's a good side, there's a dark side. And real life, that's not realistic.
Right.
You know, when there's war, the good side makes terrible decisions and the bad side makes terrible decisions, and they both think they're doing it for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And it depends completely on whose account you're reading, right?
Yeah, totally.
And I think this is her character showing that
Mhm.
of just, you know, the rebels are not all good. There are
Right.
rebels who are going to take it too far, who are also kind of evil in their own right because they've been blinded by their pain.
Yeah. And the rebellion within the rebellion at
Exactly. I think she's a great
Unchecked.
character. Yeah, I think she's a great character in here because I think if she didn't exist, the story would be less nuanced.
Okay.
that. All right. I'll give you that.
All right.
I think it's great to show, too, that our characters are looking at the situation and they're like, I don't like either of these sides. I just want the truth.
Yeah,
Because you're both probably wrong.
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
Yeah.
And during this whole exchange, we do get to see that dynamicism between both. We get the Pippa, we get the Hind, we get the Cormac, we get all of these characters all in one place. And then ultimately, they end up blowing up the suit, which ends up to be kind of cool, but also puts a huge target on their back. And then Baxian comes in. And we
Always
figure out is
Baxian.
like, oh my God. He's like, do I see a dog who's pointing his paw in the other direction?
He's like,
What?
"Run
from the
We gotta
hound!
go.
I just see
Run
the
from
dog.
behind!
You know, like the cartoons of like the dog pointing.
He's like, go this way. It's like Scooby Doo.
I love him. I love him to death.
He's trying.
But then in this, we get to see that callback from the beginning of the story where the Hind drops in that little blunk. What do they call it? A pebble? It's not a pebble. Stone? Is it a pebble? You know what I'm talking about. You read the book. Anyway, so that calls the depth charger. The depth charger shows up. They end up on the ship, which is pretty cool. We meet Ocean Queen characters.
And they finally bang, bang.
Bang, bang, bangity bang. Bang, bang, bangity bang.
They finally mate.
They finally
Okay.
And they teleport.
And they teleport.
Thank goodness she didn't take him into the water.
So their mating scene here is weirdly one of the evidences that people use that they are not mates, which is bonkers. So it's because of the verbiage. It says that
Okay.
they fill with starlight. As opposed to an Aktar, the mate bond is described both times as a golden band snapping into place. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to hear you out.
Hunt is not Faye. So I think we
Yeah.
posted this clip from our last episode and people were like, but he is, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, read book 3. His dad is actually a prince of hell. That means he's at least 50% prince of hell. His other 50% is other things. Their angels are not Faye.
Yeah.
So I'd say he's probably maybe at the most 25% Faye.
Maybe.
At the most.
Maybe.
Maybe.
He's a little bit Faye.
He's a little bit Faye.
I'm gonna need to see his 23andMe.
23 in Midgard.
Sorry.
Even compared to all of the other angels, he is told that his scent is all wrong by Mordok because he has a father who is a prince of hell. Okay.
Mhm.
But, and this is another thing. So a lot of people think that he cannot be her mate because Regulus tells Bryce that her star glows for Hunt because he's a loyal knight. He's a companion, not her mate.
What's a companion? A mate.
It's a mate. So when I hear he's a loyal knight, I think of the cadre from Thrones of Glass and Aelin and the people devoted to her.
Mm-hmm.
One of those people happens to be her mate. I don't think it has to like exclude mates just because he is essentially one of Bryce's cadre. You know?
I think that line is more of a setup that we might see her star glow for people around her in the future. I don't think it's to diminish what her and Hunt have. I think it's a setup.
It's not
future.
to denote that that's her mate because obviously it glows for Cormac.
Yeah.
It glows for Cormac,
Because he's elite
Well,
blood.
'cause he's elite blood.
It's strong.
But I also just feel like we said before, this is a modern story. Rice and the Starborn seem to be different from the Night Court and the other Prythian Fae that we know. They have
Mhm.
different types of powers. If we're comparing just ACOTAR in this book and mate bonds,
Mhm.
we see Nesta and Feyre, Rhysand and Cassian. Those are all Night Court Fae.
Mhm.
Their mate bonds, yes, because they're part of the Night Court, manifest that same way.
Mhm.
This is a different court. This is the Dusk Court. This is the Starborn. To me, if there was going to be verbiage around that, it would be absolutely they filled with Starlight.
I agree. I mean, also, not
Mhm.
all mate bonds are the same. Like,
That part.
it's a different world. It's different people.
It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. You're really trying to make it all fit when it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
The author is allowed to take liberties
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
different verbiage. It doesn't have to be the same. And just because she uses different verbiage doesn't mean the thing it doesn't exist.
It doesn't need to be canon. And I think that's the
Yeah.
problem is when you jump into the fantasy world, things become canon to you, right? Like
Mhm.
werewolves mate like this, vampires mate like this. When it's like,
Sure,
okay, no,
sure.
but this is her world.
Yeah.
So it could look different. And also from reading all 3 of her series, you see that they're all similar yet different.
Mhm.
Very different. So it's her mate.
Also, to be fair, in Crescent City, we have not seen any other mate dialogue or anything like that. So we don't have technically any foundational aspects on what mate bonds look like in Crescent City stories.
Fair.
So this is that precedent. You know what I mean? This is the precedent for the world. Just because the other worlds do have tie-ins, and obviously, like, we have the crossover.
Not necessarily worlds.
Yeah.
When Aelin and Rowan mated, I don't remember there being verbiage around a golden band
Yeah.
snapping into place.
Right, and different species, like werewolf, the
Mhm.
wolves,
Yeah.
like what does their mate bond look like? I'm sure it's not the same as someone else.
Yeah, and to your point, like, even Bryce was just like, "Oh, no, the Fae take the word mate very seriously." So that sentence alone makes me feel there might be a different precedent for mates through all of the other, like, shifters or whatever, you know what I mean?
Bryce also literally goes and tells Felicina that he's her mate.
So now we get to meet the fire sprites and the dragon. We actually don't meet any dragons in any other SJM world except for this one.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Thrones of Glass world, they're wyvern and they're not shifters. So I feel like there has to be more to this story because at the end of this series, I'm like, what was the point of this character? Because
Yeah.
in this book, she has no point, and I feel like in the next book, she kind of has no point. But the only thing I can think of is that she does say that she was a gift to the astronomer from an archangel
Hmm.
because of whatever services that he did. And I
Yeah.
do think that line is significant. And I'm
Yeah.
curious if that's how Sandriel found Shahir during the last rebellion and took down her forces.
Ooh, very interesting. All
That's
right.
my whack theory of there's really nothing behind it other than I feel like this line is important and what could have happened in the past that someone could have gained really important information to the point where they would have gifted someone a dragon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Speaking of backstabbing, what do we think about Bryce's deal with the Viper Queen behind Hunt's back?
Feel like this is real life drama. Okay.
Contention.
I feel like in ACOTAR, in Thrones of Glass, and I love it, and I think it's why we love reading romantasy. When mates find each other, it's very just like, oh, we immediately trust each other and we love each
Everything's
other.
perfect.
Everything's perfect.
We're synced.
We're
Yeah.
synced and we can do no wrong. This is real life
Yeah.
where even if you love someone doesn't mean you don't fuck up or keep secrets or do things that are idiotic. And this is one of those instances where it's like, okay, Bryce has been alone for a long time and she hasn't had a
Independent.
partner
Yeah.
for a long time. So, a realistic person like that, yes, would feel very hesitant about sharing something so deep and dark and scary
Mhm.
about someone she was trying to protect. And I also think his reaction is very warranted and his reaction is realistic of I can't believe you didn't trust me. I can't believe you hid this from me. And I love that he figured it out by reading her body language because it shows that they do really know and love each other,
Yep.
but they're still figuring it out. They're still figuring it out.
He's seeing her and understanding her on a level that nobody else is because he's the only one clued in on it. And the
Mhm.
writing on that is very clear. So then we get to the ball
Yeah.
where Bryce blows everything up with her
Yep.
and Cormac, which is all right
And weirdly doesn't come back to bite her in the ass
somehow.
Yeah.
somehow.
I mean, he's mad at her about it, but like,
Cormac is.
yeah,
Mhm.
Cormac's mad at her about it. But he's kind of like, dude, we had a deal. What the hell? You're supposed to let me know.
Yeah.
Like,
He's like, how
I
else am I
mean,
supposed to get here?
she didn't even let her mate know her deepest, darkest secrets. She's not letting Carmack know.
Yeah, fair. And at the party, day and night were supposed to meet, but they didn't because
Yeah. But I love that he actually does see her. And I do
Yeah.
love that she writes in the harpy as well. So you're kind of thrown off
Yeah.
a little bit about if the person showed up, if they did, which one is it?
Mhm.
It's
And
it's
like on a
good.
second read, you see how many times they actually interact and
yeah,
she already
crossing
has
paths.
figured out who he is. And
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
in this moment when they're on the mind bridge, she's like, "No, Rune, I saw you."
And then he's like,
Yes.
say my name again.
He's like,
It's
"What do
so
you mean?"
sweet.
Ugh.
I mean, he definitely knows it's not the harpy because he was like, Day. And she's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, gotta go.
He's like, never mind.
Peace. And Lydia's like, watching it go down, which I
Oh
was
my God.
thinking about this. I thought, that's whack, right? Like, if you made a plan to meet up with someone and you're just like, you know what? Let me just stay in the back and watch them first before I put myself out there on the line
Yeah.
to see if
But
it hits.
also, this did make me wonder though, because the harpy was there, do we think she was stationed there, or do we think that this is kind of the first indicator that the Asteri are in on, like, at least kind of have an inkling of what they're doing, and the harpy was set up there as kind of like
I think it's coincidence.
Yeah.
a coincidence? I mean, I can
Because
definitely see that as well.
Because the Asteri really don't know that the Hind is the double agent. And that's
Yeah.
apparent at the end of this book because at the end, everyone's in chains but Lydia.
Yeah. No,
Well,
totally.
but the harpy on her own outside of the Asteri might have been starting to figure some things out because she actually doesn't trust or like Lydia.
True.
And she kind of mentions that when they're in the cave later on. And
In the dungeon.
yeah, in the dungeon.
She's like, I knew it was you, you bitch.
Yeah, I freaking knew it was you. I knew it. You were suspicious to me. And then they're like, you know what? You know too much. Kill her, right? So she's not even around in the end to get Lydia chained up.
Yeah.
I mean, they do bring her back to life next book, but that's a whole different thing.
Bless me.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Ethan and how he quote unquote rescues the mystic who he thinks is the Fenrir heir to the throne.
Horrible decision.
Horrible decision. I hate him so much. I mean, and it leads into same about Tharian, about him selling himself to the Viper Queen, and these men be so stupid.
Yeah.
If I trust anyone to write a redemption arc, it is Sarah J. Maas. I mean, look at Nesta, but whew, they got a long ways to go.
It's like, was that really your only option? Was that your only option was to do what you did? Both of them.
I was like, which
Idiot.
one are you
No,
referring
both of
to?
them. Both of them.
Idiot.
Him stealing the dang wolf in the jar. The other one.
Wolf in a jar.
The jar wolf.
The expression "let sleeping dogs lie" could not be more applicable than in this situation. He should have just left her. I'm sorry if that makes me cold. She just causes far too many problems.
And
Yeah.
then she's ungrateful next book.
So ungrateful.
She is awful next book. I just
yeah.
am like, where is this going? It has
Listen,
to be
she
going
deserves to die.
somewhere.
I'm sorry, but
I'm gonna save that for my thorns.
Yeah. Ugh. But on the other split side, I
Yeah.
wish we'd gotten rid of maybe Tharion or Ethan, but instead we get rid of Cormac and he makes this noble sacrifice to save them and to take out Pippa. And it's like he knew going into that mission that he was going to sacrifice himself, which is just Oh, it's so gut-wrenching. The love of his
It
life is
is.
gone. He
He's like,
knows
"Why
Sophie's
else?"
gone, and
And he
he's like,
knows her
"I don't wanna
brother's
be here
safe.
anymore."
Her
Yep,
brother's safe, that was his one promise to her. It's like, "My
yep,
all my loose ends are tied up."
His conversation with Rune the night before, I think, is just really heartbreaking and
it
just
is.
really humanizing him as well, to where you actually get that very tied up in a nice bow. He had the full circle moment.
He did.
He was like, I really do think Bryce would have helped me be a better person. And Rune's like, I think she already has. And I'm like, kill me because that's so
Yeah.
sweet. Like, so that is unfortunate and sad. But also, thank you, Cormac. You did provide a distraction. Therian, I don't know what you're doing in the wind. I mean, I do because I read book 3, but
I hate them both. But then we get to the big plot reveal. The
No.
yep.
Asteri are parasites jumping from planet to planet. And we get so many Prithian breadcrumbs, it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He talks about basically the trove that they made. They built the warriors for their army in Prithian, aka the Illyrians. And then he does make a comment about how the Illyrians turned on them and joined the Fae, which I find interesting. We find out that Danika's Fae all come from a world where Fae shared their forms with animals, aka thrones of glass, and that they bred the pointed ears out of them. But he also mentions that the mare descended from them. But I don't
Yeah.
think that's true based on this book, because when we go down in the deep with the Ocean Queen's crew, we see a whole city that existed before the Asteri arrived. So I don't know that that's totally true.
I agree with you too, because
Yeah.
they mention that there were people and creatures that existed on this planet for thousands of years before the Asteri got there.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
feel like the Mer are part of that.
Unless this comes into play where it's a split theory of the multiverse and it being the same universe, of maybe just the Thrones of Glass world and this world were the same universe and everyone else has come from somewhere else.
You guys, but also there's totally the possibility that Mare existed on the planet, and also there were traveler mares as well from a different
True.
planet. Like they could both exist. I mean, it says that the River Queen and the Ocean Queen are sisters, but who says that they're blood sisters? Like
True.
Yeah.
maybe they're sisters of the ocean, like or
And
of the
True.
water.
but also back to your theory about the Throne of Glass world existing at the same time as this world. I find it interesting also when Bryce ends up over in Prithian. When she ends up over there, they're like, "Oh, you speak the old language that I haven't heard in thousands of years." When it's like, in our minds, we're like, "Nah, she present day." No,
Yeah.
like it's a different.
Ancient.
Yeah,
Ancient.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
That
also, so was this underwater world was ancient and covered in word marks is what it sounds like.
Mhm.
I think there could be a world where maybe this is the Thrones of Glass universe evolved into modern day, but also the Prithian Fae were brought over and all these other people were brought over. It could be
Mhm.
both.
It's the
Could be
otters.
both.
The otters are the travelers. No. I'm kidding.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Ugh.
then we get the best twist of all at the end when Bryce lands in Prithian. So it's interesting because last week when we posted a lot of our podcast clips, a lot of people were like, and I saw this on Reddit too. She says, "Take me to the princes of hell." And she lands at Azrael's feet. And a lot of people use this as fuel to say Azrael is a prince of hell.
No,
No,
She does not ever say that. She does not ever say that.
you
When she
wrong.
when she opens the portal, she actually thinks fucking nothing.
It's the sword.
There is no dialogue at all of
Mm-mm.
her thinking anything of "Take me to anywhere." I read it like 5 times because of how many times I read this in Reddit and comments and things of people saying, "She says, 'Take me to a prince of hell.'" She never says that.
The only
Never
thing
says
she
that.
says is only allow me through.
Yes, that is the only
That's it.
thing she says.
I think it's
Yes,
the sword going home.
it's the sword going home to its partner,
it's mate. Yeah.
its mate, 100%, and they do say that
Sword
next
love.
book, but also people love to theorize, and we'll
Yeah.
talk about I know everyone's dying, we'll talk about the Bryce Azrael mating theory next episode, but
Yeah.
yeah, this ending shook me to my core. I still remember to the day reading this for the first time and literally just being like, "What?"
Yep.
Like,
I mean, my husband doesn't read fantasy or anything like that, and he got like at least a 45-minute breakdown of this entire thing. And while I was simultaneously texting Alex, because I was just like, I cannot contain this inside my one vessel. This needs to be expanded, exploded, digested externally. This is insane and crazy and cool and what? And also, I didn't have to wait till book 3. Sorry to everyone who did.
Yeah, I had to wait for book 3 to come out,
I
which
did
was
too.
painful. It was
That would have been
painful.
very difficult.
I blame Alex. She told me to read this series, and then I also had to wait for book 3 to come out.
So imagine when I read this series, I had no one to talk to because no one I knew had read it before. I read Agatar and then Crescent City because my friend LJ from growing up she's a therapist, and she was like, a lot of my clients talk about these books that I think that you would really like.
That's amazing. Shout out LJ.
Yeah. But she'd never read them. She just was like, I've heard other people talk about them, and it sounds like something you would like.
Yeah.
And I had texted her one day saying, I wish I could get back into reading.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was a book I was excited about, because I haven't been excited about books in a very long time, or I hadn't. And I bought the first Akatar, and it sat on my nightstand for like 6 months. Because I trusted her. Don't get me wrong, I trusted her. But when I read the back of the book, it was like about fairies, and I was like,
The fairy.
Fairies? And that's coming from someone who loves fantasy. I've read Harry Potter like 23 times. I've read Twilight and Hunger Games and all those books. I love the fantasy world. Anyway, the fairies got me. I was like, I don't know about fairies. And when I finally picked it up, I spiraled into this, but no one I knew had read them, because even the person who recommended them to me had not read them.
No, but then you dragged me into it. You're like, you got to read Akatar. And then I was like, okay. And she was just waiting for me. She was waiting for me to fall in love with Tamlin and then be broken the next book. She was waiting for me to call her.
It's my favorite thing.
Yep.
It's my favorite thing for people to be like, ooh, Tamlin, and me be like,
yeah.
Tamlin,
exactly.
tampon.
Tamlin. I'm like, oh my God, he's so sweet. Look
Just
at him
wait.
taking her in. Yeah, no.
Taking and keeping her in.
And keeping her in. Locked up.
Locked up.
All right. That wraps up our threads of theory for Crescent City, House of Sky and Breath. With the theories laid out and the threads traced, it's time to step back from the analysis and let ourselves just feel the book for what it is. Which means it's time for the Roses segment, where we discuss the moments that hit hardest, lingered longest, and reminded us why the story hurts so good. Let's hold court. Alex, Joe,
take it away.
What are your roses?
I mean, Hunt and Bryce becoming mates in this book is obviously a rose.
Yeah.
And I think the best rose of it is that it's not perfect, is that they have issues afterwards. They still fight. They still are like figuring out how to trust each other. Like, obviously, we love a classic mate trope where they instantly fall in love and everything's perfect, but it's also nice to see a realistic one.
Yeah,
so
completely agree.
Yeah,
that's one of my roses. And then obviously the ending with "Hello, I'm Rhysand" is the greatest thing that's ever happened in
Hello,
literature.
Bryce Quinlan.
Yes. I mean, I feel like a rose and a bud simultaneously for me is the crossover. Just
yeah, 100%.
Like,
Same.
But
Rose
also, can
bud.
you imagine if you read Crescent City first? Like, what?
Like,
you would not be excited at all. You would just be like, oh, I guess we're in a different world. Like,
You'd be like,
Daddy Reese.
Who's Rhysand? Who's Rhysand? Who's Rhysand?
My rose would be the relationship between Rune and Lydia. I love it. And I love me some reality television. It really reminds me of Love is Blind.
Fangs and bangs.
Fangs and bangs.
Yeah. They don't know who each other are, but they're getting to know each other in the dark. Like, you know, I love that. I love that they get to know each other before finding out who each other really are. That's my rose. And obviously, Hunt and Bryce finally bow chicka wow wow.
Yes, completely. I agree as well. The mating, love it. The progress, it feels very real and as if it were modern day. Like, I love that they like agreed to do it and they're just like, I love you. Is that cool?
Yeah. It's all
Also,
very realistic.
There's more spice in this book and I like it.
We do appreciate the spice.
What about our Thorns?
I mean, I think in bold letters for all three of us, it's Ethan and Therian, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
veins of all existence.
Darian basically selling his soul really pissed me off. Selling his soul to the devil. I'm like, why? Why did you think that this was a better option or that this was the option?
Yeah. No, I
Why?
get that
He was
completely.
put between a rock and a hard place,
I guess.
and he chose the hard place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. I also don't love the Dragon Shifter storyline or the
Yeah.
Mystic storyline.
Yeah, I don't
It
either.
all feels not really central to the story, but I'm assuming it's set up for book 4.
It has to be.
Yeah.
I know you kind of made a case for it, but I felt like Pippa was a weird, underdeveloped antagonist. I feel like I understand what you were saying about it, but I also just feel like it was lacking pretty severely. And it's just Thorn because they do give enough reasons for me to hate her, but also not enough at the same time.
Like, you wish you'd gotten her backstory on why she
Yes.
hates Veneer so
Yes.
much. Yeah.
Yes.
I just feel like it was kind of like, oh, and Pippa Spetzos, she's a bad person. And
Yeah,
then
here she is.
52 chapters later, here she is again.
Right.
Like,
blow up. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but I also feel like there was so much going on in this book, so much happening with each character individually, that it would have been a much longer book if they'd given us more of her backstory. So it's like, should they have trimmed some of the stuff that was happening? Could some of it
Yes.
been an email? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then we could have gotten more of her.
I think the demon attack from Apollyon could have been an email.
Yeah, we could have
That was-
learned more about her.
That was also one of my thorns, Alex.
It was my trim. It just felt like it didn't need to be there.
I get that.
I think the messages from him in the dream world would have been enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's your trim. Joe, do you have a trim?
Oh yeah, my trim. I agree with you. You call her Tank Wolf, but I call her Glass Jar Wolf.
Yeah,
Glass
the Tank
Jar.
Wolf.
Yeah. I just feel like he already had his storyline. Like Ethan already had something going on, right? He pissed off his pack.
You already had
leader.
your moment, babe. Like, this
Yeah.
isn't your book.
Book 4, 5, and 6 is his book, Gear Up.
No, stop it.
I can just honestly say I loved the Nesta redemption. I don't know that I want an Ethan redemption. Like, do I need Ethan?
No. Do I need
Do I?
Tharian? No. It
Can
better
you
be
just get
the best redemption that has ever happened.
Can they
Ugh.
just do like a tiny little thing, an excerpt where like Ethan just gets his own pack? and that's
Or,
that?
I mean, they
Or-
already set it up like that. It could have already happened.
or hear me out, they both die. And we never have to hear
Dang.
from them again.
On the
Yeah.
depth charger. No.
Yeah.
Or they both just disappear forever.
I mean, I guess the one thing I
The
like
meat
about
market is
Tharian
burned. No.
is that like he's like the transport guy. Like, get in my boat. You know, like he's the taxi.
Ethan bothers me much less than Ethan.
Same.
Yes,
Ethan, I'm
same,
just like,
Same.
Same.
bro, why are you still here? You're kind of, oh my God, he's almost like, spoiler for Brimstone and Quicksilver. Hayden sucks. Let's go to Buds. What are we liking? What are
I mean,
we
the
can't wait to see?
crossover.
Crossover.
Obviously.
Crossover.
Give me
I-
more Rhysand, please.
I also want more Lydia and Rune. I want like mate bond. We love each other forever. Like, you know, Cassia and Nesta vibes.
I'm so excited to see more about the Hind.
Me too.
Mhm.
Me too.
And Hypaxia. I want more about Hypaxia. I
Yeah.
think she's such a cool character. I really hope she gives us that link to the witches in Thrones of Glass, like with the 3-faced goddess, and maybe there's a
I would give
Manon
anything for a Manon crossover.
Maybe she's part of the 13. Maybe Hypaxia comes from the 13. That would be fantastic.
So there is a theory out there that Asterin, her baby somehow survived and has like ended up in Midgard or some, you know, like there are weird
Her
things with that.
woodsman baby.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
personally I'm not on that train because I think it diminishes the storyline of Thrones of Glass, of that entire storyline.
Yeah, it's also part of her storyline that she loses it, you know? So
Yeah, I just it's also like I don't know where you're pulling that from other than wishful thinking. Like
Yeah, I don't see any receipts for that.
no receipts. But I want more of the witches. I mean, maybe, you know, Hypaxia's line is descendant from Dorian and Manon. Like that would be great. I would love that.
Yeah. Maybe she takes back her coven.
Wait, Which is
What?
also why she's part necromancer, because he was part Valg and he has like dark, scary powers. Oh,
Shut your mouth! What? Okay.
sorry. I was just
But she's
spitballing.
supposed to be related to what's her face. She's
Lydia,
supposed to be
yeah.
related to Lydia.
Which, can you imagine if Dorian's descendant and Aylin's descendant were then related? How adorable.
All right. How's court feeling? Are all of our
Feeling
cases
great.
closed?
I think all of our cases are closed.
Yes, close.
And that, friends, is House of Sky and Breath. Chaos, conspiracies, mating bonds, multiversal portals, and one absolutely unhinged cliffhanger.
We lost heroes. We gained traitors. The Asteri are officially exposed as cosmic parasites. Hunt is enslaved again. Ruin is in chains. Bryce is stranded in another world. And somehow, Rhysand just said hello.
Let's just sit in that for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And you know, Sarah J. Maas really said, you thought you were reading one series? Think again.
Thank you so much for spiraling with us through Crescent City 2. If you scream, cried through your book, or immediately reread Crescent City 3 at 2 o'clock in the morning, same.
And speaking of, next month we're diving headfirst into Crescent City 3. That's right, we're covering the multiverse madness, the rescue mission, the fallout, the reunions, and whatever emotional damage Sarah has prepared for us next.
So start your reread, highlight your favorite unhinged moments, and prepare yourselves. Because if book 2 was chaos, book 3 is war.
We'll see you next month. Stay hydrated, trust no Asteri, and through love, apparently all is possible. Saucy Scribes out. Woo! Love you guys.
Love you.